Improv at its basic form is making stuff up. It can go from the simplest scene, getting a suggestion and a place, to a very complicated making up one-act plays. My theory of improv is simply to please the audience. If you're playing for a more highbrow, artsy crowd, you should try to match that and do something a little more highbrow and artsy. And if you're playing for people who have never seen improv before, you should do short form and something a little more fun. As for my history of improv, I started out actually on the day that the Susquehanna Hat Company chose their name. I wasn't a member of the hat company. I was next door doing a Christmas show with a guy by the name of Dave Flick, who's been in a lot of different improv troupes, and so I'd been going to Friday night improvs at that point, and I knew most of the people forming the hat company, so I popped in to say hi, and I got to hear them turn down a number of suggestions before the Susquehanna Hat Company was chosen. Susquehanna Hat Company wasn't interested in me at the time. And so I joined a troupe called Reality Optional. They performed at a place called The Artery in Shadyside. And I got a lot of valuable experience there, and I was also, because I realized that a lot of people didn't know how to do improv, I was running workshops through F&I. At that point, I was performing some form of improv 5 days a week. Eventually, I left Reality Optional and joined the Hat Company. Shortly after that, David White, who was our director at the time, left to go to New Jersey and appointed me as the new artistic director because he said I was the only one who had been in another troupe, ironically enough. So I guess it all worked out. Improv's given me many happy memories. Strangely, my happiest memory isn't the trips. It isn't the it isn't any of that. It's when we performed our first Herald. We were at the first ever Improvathon. I'd been up for 24 hours. I thought for sure that the Herald form that we had just formed maybe a week before was doomed, and yet Dean, me, David White, Amanda Cohen, Dave Novinsky, and David Smith, Ben Smith, I believe, were in that first Herald we did. It just came off flawlessly. It would never be as good again. Not only did we have a main plot, but we had a subplot, and they were both. It was just. I wouldn't say it was better than Stacks, but it certainly was a good second to it. But you know, performing at colleges was always a thrill. We got to go to the University of Southern Kentucky. We got to perform at a lot of smaller colleges all around Pittsburgh. We performed a lot of corporate gigs. That seemed like, as Lou Stein said, getting money for something you do in your basement for free. So improv has been good to me. I've been able to date outside my class. It's helped form me into the person I am today. And of course, it introduced me to my wonderful wife Cheryl, who I never would have met had she not been going to Friday night improvs, and I'd been a performer there. Yeah, improvs introduced me to my wife, gave me most of my friends, and gave me a life. Otherwise, I would still be in my parents' basement playing video games. Instead, I'm in my house playing video games.